Nice little toast. Nice little toast to it. Nice little toast. Nice little toast. I was trying out the matches, but the matches are burning out fast because there's a little breeze outside. It's like 60 out here. So I have to pull out the lighter. What is it today? October 3rd. October 3rd. Nice day outside, hitting the 60s. Go for a little morning walk, like a mile, get the blood flowing, get the blood pumping. Burn some calories on top of that. Us gamers, we gotta stay healthy. You gotta play the long game, not the short game. It's not burning as crazy as I thought it would, but it's something. Pretty good flavor. It's burning pretty quickly though. I'm gonna get through this pretty fast. Anyways, I don't have my dedicated microphone, so the phone is at a bit of a distance so that you guys can see, take in the environment, and just enjoy it. Last couple days of fall before the winter comes, and everybody's gonna be inside, so you just have to come outside and just enjoy it. A lot happening in the gaming world. Black Ops 7 beta just dropped. That was pretty fun for like a bit. At least the early access beta. So it's not anything too crazy. Like it just doesn't pop out to me. It's not spectacular. It's decent, but with things like skill-based matchmaking, it kills the fun at times. Like you have a good lobby one time, and the next lobby, you got guys in game chat sweating their ass off, calling you out. He's one shot. He's one shot. It's insane. Couple days away from Battlefield beta. Well, not beta, but Battlefield 6 dropping the full release. The beta was fun. I had a lot of fun on Battlefield beta. Ghost of Yote just dropped. Another banger. Performing really, really well. A lot of people have great things to say about it, so yeah. I made a video a couple days ago talking about how I'm optimistic about gaming long term. And then you have Microsoft like increasing the cost of their consoles twice this year. And then they recently increased the cost of Game Pass, which I did a video covering that as well. The greed. The greed with these companies, man. I mean, I've said this before. We're in a state right now, not just here in America, but like globally. At least with most countries, not all countries, because there's countries where they're not in an affordability crisis. In America, it's accelerated. Like the value of your dollar is going up. The cost and access to get funds and cash is expensive because of interest rates being high. Inflation is running high, and we're just in this affordability crisis. And you see a lot of companies laying off a lot of people, and I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Profits over people. Profits over players. So about the Xbox Game Pass price increases, and you see this all across the industry. everybody's increasing the cost of their memberships and subscription fees. And this isn't something that's isolated just to gaming, but gamers are going to speak out very, very loudly. They're going to react. They're going to speak out. Similarly to, Disney Plus a couple of weeks ago, where people were just mass canceling it. Similar thing is happening in the Game Pass right now, where you have a lot of people canceling. And then you have like a subset of people who've been championing Game Pass, and they're realizing they don't really own anything. It's ironic. The service that you were shilling for all these years, and talking about how the Xbox is the place for the greatest value in gaming. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Gaming's never been about value. Gaming is a business like anything else, and it's not a poor man's hobby. You have to be willing to spend to be able to get the experiences you want from gaming. And ownership is king in anything. Movies, music, gaming. Ownership is king. And if you want value, you can navigate around sales. You don't have to buy everything day one and pre-order everything. This is good. I cannot lie. Yeah, back to the conversation about Game Pass. When I seen the capital expenditure Microsoft and Xbox was doing in regards to acquiring studios, the amount of money, billions, in acquiring studios, something had to give, because you can't acquire all these studios and publishers, Bethesda, Activision, Blizzard, for multi-billions of, we're talking about tens of billions of dollars in acquisitions. So then take those games, throw it in the service, right? And then your service isn't growing at the rate that you expected it to grow. And this was proven by the FTC leaks a couple years ago. That's why a lot of people have to pay attention to that. And I'm going to put the graph there so you guys can see. They were expecting to get to anywhere from 100 to 120 million Game Pass subs by 2030. They're not even halfway to that goal. What is that telling you? Game Pass isn't as popular as people make it out to be. It's not profitable. Because when you're making those kinds of acquisitions, you need that return on investment. It's essentially an investment in the fact that you want those studios to be able to produce content for you, so you can then make money, particularly off of your service, as well as being able to sell your console. And the console's been floundering. I made a video about that a while ago. I made a video called "The Business of Xbox and Game Pass Makes No Sense," and I got nothing but cope in the comments. Nothing but cope. And now I get to sit out here in the sunny day and say, I told you. I don't like to be right about it, but it is what it is. And I told people this years ago, if Xbox doesn't get their shit together and the business doesn't turn around, then you're going to have a situation like this where they're going to increase prices to make up for the deficit for a lot of money being lost. And they talk about, oh, we've generated this much revenue. Out of all that revenue you've generated, how much of it is profits? You spent a lot. But how profitable is your platform compared to other platforms? And people will make this argument that hardware doesn't matter. These people try to shift the conversation. They try to say hardware doesn't matter. Xbox doesn't need to sell hardware. Yes, you do, because there's something called attach rate. When you sell the console, when you sell the hardware, then you get people to spend money on your platform. Then they get to subscribe to Game Pass. They get to buy games and services and microtransactions, and you generate revenue from your platform. Because you had these people trying to make the argument that the core foundation of Xbox, which is the console, the hardware, doesn't matter. Here we are. also try to convince you that buying games don't matter. Now look at what's happening with Game Pass. It's crazy. People aren't buying the console. Game Pass isn't growing at the rate that they expected it to grow. And now they're killing off parts of their businesses. We've seen them with mass layoffs, studio closures, and stuff like that. And that's only going to accelerate as we move further into the decade. By 2027, 2028, don't be shocked by what you see from Xbox then. Do not be shocked. The world is going to move forward with or without Xbox. And I would like a world in which Xbox is successful, where they're thriving and they're competitive in the market, but they're not competitive. Not enough to make a dent in the areas of gaming that matters. But whatever. This is a nice flavor. It's like, it has a little bit of citrus to it. A little bit of citrus to this flavoring for the cigar. It's not bad. Ownership is king. Owning your games, owning your movies, owning your music, all that stuff is king. Now, in regards to the music and movie space, right? Piracy is back up. Piracy is back up for those things. I would never advocate for piracy of games. Even movies to a certain extent. Like movies and TV shows, if it's something that you really enjoy, buy the physical copy and own it. They can never do anything about it, right? And even with music, because you see this with music on the streaming services, that they'll do alterations to the music after time, and be like, hey, this isn't the original version of the song that I heard when it first came out. They altered it. They might take a feature off and upload a new version of the song. So there's that. But ownership is king. Buy your games, own your games. Like I said, navigate through a sale. Xbox Game Store sales, PlayStation Store sale, Nintendo sales. On PC, Steam sales. There's always a sale happening on Steam. Even you could go to key websites, G2A, Kingwin, stuff like that, get a discount in the game. Ownership is king. And now a lot of the Xbox base is realizing that they don't really own anything, because they advocated for Game Pass all these years, and yeah, we gotta throw more titles on Game Pass. Now that they raised the price to where it's like, damn, $30 a month for Ultimate to get day one games, day and date in Game Pass, on top of all the other stuff that they segmented and restructured with that service. Now it's like, wow, you got to make choices, you got to make decisions. And we know for the majority of people, discretionary income is down, disposable income is down, everything's expensive. We are in an affordability crisis, and people are looking for value where they can. And the argument that people were making for years, that Xbox is the console, the ecosystem for value, now it's backfiring. What can you really say? What can you say? Gaming's never been about value. Never. Never throughout the entire history of gaming has it been about value. Now, have there been moments in time where gaming was, fairly priced? Yeah. 2 generations ago, a generation ago, where consoles are priced at $300-400, it was easy to get. The cost of the console went down as the generation progressed. Games were cheaper. Shit, they used to bundle multiple games together in one pack. That's not the case now. And that wasn't indicative of what the future was going to be. Now, is there going to be a correction? The correction's happening in real time. And the market moves in cycles. So right now, we're in a rough patch with the market in general. but especially with gaming. But there's always going to be the standout successes. The cream is always going to rise to the top, as well as the shit. Yeah, the final days before winter. For for a lot of markets, winter's already here. But you're in winter, you're insulated, you're not really out there like that. But the sun always comes out. The sun always comes out. There's better days ahead. Like I said, I'm very optimistic about gaming long term. I'm bullish on the gaming market. Gaming is always going to be here. Gaming survived the dot-com bubble, the housing crisis in 2008. Gaming survived during COVID, and gaming is going to survive this recession. Cheers to that. Gaming is going to survive. Okay? People talking about gaming is going to crash. Gaming's gonna crash. That makes me chuckle. Gaming's not gonna crash. You're going to have parts of gaming that's gonna struggle through this time, but then you're gonna have other parts that don't. Okay? Battlefield's on track to have a successful launch. Ghost of Yotei had a successful launch. Lots of games were very, very successful this year. And next year is going to be an even bigger year for gaming than this year. And like I said in my previous video, the Game Awards is right around the corner. So you're going to have more announcements for games during the Game Awards. Yeah, this is a good cigar flavor. If you're a cigar connoisseur, let me know in the comments if you guys like cigars. Throw some recommendations my way. But yeah, gaming's gonna survive. Don't worry about it. I'm very optimistic. We have a lot of doomers, a lot of pessimists. And I'm like, man, what typically happens in an environment like this, right? Where everything's expensive. There's a slowdown. Spending slows down for certain parts, right? Obviously, the standout cases and the most anticipated titles are going to succeed. They're going to sell lots of copies. They're going to generate the revenue and profits, right? And they're going to keep the studios that are relevant alive. And you're going to have a couple sleepers here and there. Like, oh, I wasn't checking for this game, but there's a lot of buzz around it. Let me check it out, right? And then you have the slop. There's a lot of slop in gaming. And the slop isn't going to succeed. The slop is going to have a decline. Less active players. Less money being spent on microtransactions and battle passes and stuff like that. We've seen this happen time and time again, where you have some of these like live service multiplayer games fail over time, and then you have single player games that just fail outright. And I said this, the AAA market in particular, you're going to have its hits and misses. That's always been the case. But when you're in an environment like this, where hardware prices are high, video game prices are high, services are high now, right? The correction is going to take place over time. But there's not going to be a complete collapse and crash like some of these people are saying. Don't believe that shit, because they're trying to instill this mindset of fear and just negativity, when gaming's always been about fun, having fun, enjoying yourself, playing a wide variety of different games. Who are the most miserable gamers? The most miserable gamers in the world are the gamers that only play a select few games every single year. They play the same shit. They play slop. And slop gaming isn't going to win the day. It's not. And yeah, there's some slop games that make a lot of money and they're very successful, but how sustainable is it long term if they're not innovating? If they're not curating that experience and making it fun for you? So I'll play some more Black Ops 7 beta today and test it out and keep trying it out and get some footage so I can make a review of the beta. From what I played so far, it hasn't incentivized me to want to buy the game. When I played Battlefield 6, the beta, I was like, yeah, I gotta get on this. I'm actually having fun. And it's not to say that like Black Ops 7 is trash. It's okay. If I want an okay experience, I'll play something else. It's not like I was having fun. No. And it's not mid. It's not mid. It's not bad. It's okay. The floor is mid. The ceiling is okay. Which means that this is it. It's not like this wide gap where like the ceiling is greatness and the floor is good. No, it's mid and it's okay at best. It's not horrible, but it doesn't wow me. It's just a yap session. Cigars and yapping. I might make this a segment. I might just make this a permanent segment. Oh shit, that's a bee. Get out of here. I might make this a permanent segment. Just cigar and yap. Just yap about gaming. Shout out to the new subscribers. Shout out to the new viewers. We've been streaming consistently, uploading consistently. Yeah, this is good.